Hello everyone, it's Yoshi from your boy Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. Give me one moment to get the live chat up. Today is March 1st, 2019. I'm going to be talking about yesterday, February 28th, 2019. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. If you're just now joining us in the live chat, feel free to tell us about your day, if you have any questions for your boy, and if you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream. Nani said, wow, Nick, now? Yes, now. Whenever I say there's like a vlog delay, that just means it's delayed for a little bit. I get to it eventually. This is so late. We normally do it a little after midnight. It's 3:29 a.m. So I am super late. Not gonna pretend like I'm not. I don't know what I would get from pretending that I wasn't late. But why would I not do the vlog, Nani? I gotta hang out with you guys. Gotta discuss some topics. Talk about my day. Nani said, "No wonder you sleep late." Well, I have no classes on Friday, so I can actually get away with like being up hella late at this time. So it'll be interesting for sure. Let's see. So right now I'm going to get the description box and tags set up for this video. Bum, 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 ba-na-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Nani said, "Cool, no school Friday, Andy." So what I do, that I think is like interesting is the way that my classes are set up. I have a 4-day weekend, so I have no class on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, or Mondays. So after Thursday, I can like hard chill. And by hard chill, I mean actually just hang out with literally everybody and actually have no time to just sit back and chill. Nani says he's grinding on Dokkan. Are you trying to get like a specific character? He said that you pulled Super Saiyan God Gogeta. Oh, ballin'. And then Nani said his animation is so sexy. So my question about your Super Saiyan God Gogeta, are you referring to Super Saiyan God as in the red form or Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta? Because I've actually never seen like Super Saiyan God, like the normal one for Gogeta. Nani said it's like the anime, so Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. I see you. Bum, 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 bum. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. I actually would really like to see Super Saiyan God Gogeta. I think that'd be interesting. The red one, I mean. Do 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 do. Okay. So right now I'm almost done editing the description. I'm making good timing. Whenever I check, and it's not yet like 3 minutes in, then I'm like, oh, I'm making good time. Do 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 do. Let's see. Nani said, and he pulled the Broly movie. So I'm assuming you mean that you pulled like Broly from the Broly movie. Let's see. And then Nani said, and he's an area of effect unit. It's been a long time since I played Dokkan. And then he said he really likes his animation. He said his animation was sexy as fuck. Let's see. We're getting these specific tags, and I'm gonna have to make a new playlist now for vlogs for March 2019. This is the last February vlog. That's actually really interesting. It shows a lot of progress. So changes being saved, all changes saved. Let's see. Nani said he is a beast in the WTO World Tournament. He knocks out everyone. I don't know why that tickled me so hard. He said, so I made a movie bosses team. Okay, so who's all on your movie bosses team? I imagine Broly from the Super movie, of course, but like who else? It'd be interesting if you were like, he's the whole team. Let's see. So whenever I talk about my day, I always like to start off with what I dreamed about last night and then move forward from there. So for last night's dream, mom tried to pretend like she didn't enjoy superhero movies, so we had a debate about superhero films. The dream then skipped to an intro sequence to a non-existent MCU Spider-Man movie that was hinting at the loss of a female Spider-Man character without detailing who the character was going to be. And I thought that was really interesting because a lot of people, when you think about like Spider-Man losing a female character, they think about like Gwen Stacy because like Green Goblin killed her. Um, Technically, Spider-Man killed her. It's kind of weird, but there's so many women that Peter Parker has have lost in his life, and women that Peter Parker could lose in his life to where I feel like if a movie started by hinting that one was gonna die, you could guess one way but be completely wrong. So I woke up and I was like, "Ooh, that'd be an interesting ass movie." Because I feel like I'd be sitting in the theater like, are they really gonna kill Gwen Stacy again, or is like Aunt May gonna bite the dust? Like I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's see. Nani said so. Broly is the lead, then Super Broly, then Easy A transforming Frieza. I don't know what Easy A means. Then Agile Turles, then LR Bojack, and then AGL, or Agile Bojack. So I guess my question is, what is Easy A? Easy A transforming Frieza. I don't know what that means. And then he said, no, another Broly Easy A. So it's Broly, lead Broly Super Easy A, transforming Frieza Agile, Turles LR. No, is it Agile Turles, LR Bojack, and Agile Bojack? The way that it's organized is hard to read because you didn't put commas anywhere. So that's where I'm getting lost. He said, so a Easy A is other metals that make the unit stronger. And then he says, not two Brolys. Okay, fuck me. So it's one Broly. So it's lead Broly, super Easy A, transforming Frieza, agile Turles, LR Bojack, and agile Bojack. And then he says, I mean two Brolys. So you do mean two Brolys. So Broly, then lead Broly, super Easy A, then transforming Frieza, then Agile Turles, then then LR Bojack, and then Agile Bojack. And then Nani said yes. Okay, cool. You had me fucked up for a minute. Um, After I had my dream that had like the Spider-Man intro, I woke up and I decided to finally finish the 12 issue series Avengers A.I, which I have like a Marvel encyclopedia, and I also have the Marvel website that updates itself, and it might as well be a Marvel encyclopedia. The big Marvel encyclopedia, which I haven't finished, it's like an Avengers based encyclopedia, but it covers a lot of the Marvel universe. That's what told me that Avengers AI was a thing. And I read the entry on Avengers AI and I was like, that's cool as fuck. I'm just gonna read that. So I stopped reading the Avengers Encyclopedia and started reading Avengers AI and never finished it. I got like more than halfway through the series, which is what I figured out when I like went back to figure out where I left off. I got more than halfway through. I think I got distracted by other comics like Dial H for Hero and stuff like that. And I just never finished it. It was really interesting, but the ending was kind of odd. I'm not gonna spoil the ending. I'd recommend you guys check it out if you're into artificial intelligence. I feel like it's pretty cool. I really like the fact that the team has an unwilling Doombot on it. Doombots are just robot versions of Doctor Doom that he makes to be like his evil minions. But I've now seen a couple different stories where Doombots have just become their own thing. This is a Doombot that was reprogrammed by Hank Pym, but he still has his own personality. I also like seeing Hank Pym, aka Ant Man, lead a superhero team, and how the heroes can more or less just manipulate reality when they're in the world of the AI, which is called the Diamond. In it, they're like, within the world of the AI, you can kind of just stretch the way that reality works because the computer world isn't like the normal world. So Captain America gives himself like 8 arms. All the Avengers combine together into like this big mech robot. Your boy Hank Pym gives himself super speed for no reason. Rogue turns herself into like a weird Hulk kind of fighter. I just thought that was a really cool idea. I also like seeing the Avengers 10,000 years in the future. There's like a time skip, and I was hyped that they showed off AI Spider-Man and Wolverine, who just looked really dope. But I definitely would recommend Avengers AI. Like I said, the ending gets weird. I don't think anyone's gonna predict the ending. They do some really crazy shit for it. I'm not a big fan of how it ends, but the series as a whole, until you get to the ending, I thought was like pretty good. Let's see. So Nani said, so basically each turn Frieza transforms, like all his forms, like each turn. Not all of them, but one by one. Why phrase it like that, Nani? You could very easily just phrase it however you want, but you purposely phrased it one way and then said, but not like this the other way. And he said, and each time he transforms, my health goes back up, so I never die. And then Nani said, noise. That was interesting. I like how you're like each turn, not all of them, but one by one. You could have just said one by one. Frieza turns into each of his forms, and then your health goes back up. But that's cool. That seems a little overpowered. How rare is that Frieza? And do other transforming characters do stuff like that? Uh, because of the fact, also, Nani said lol, I couldn't explain it good. I feel like you did, it's just you explained it weirdly at first and then corrected yourself, which I thought was interesting. That's like if I said the sky is blue and like darker blue, but it's lighter blue when it's daytime and then it's darker blue at night because the sun's not out. It's like, why say that? Why couldn't you just say like the sky is blue and then like the hint of blue is based on how like dark or light it is? I don't know. It just see you went a little weird. Then Nani said not all of them. Frieza only does that, and he's pretty rare. He hasn't come out since December. Interesting. So it just sounds like he's a really good pick, because he more or less gives you that health refresh every time. So he seems actually like a pretty solid unit. Because of the fact that I had that dream that involved Spider-Man, at one point during the intro sequence that I had imagined in my dream, Spider-Man was swinging around the city. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind doing some Spider-Man swing around the city shit. And then near the end of Avengers A.I, when they do that 10,000 year time skip and we see A.I. Spider-Man, I'm like, okay, now I know I gotta do some Spider-Man shit. So I turned on my PS4 and I live streamed Spider-Man for PS4. I streamed for less than 10 minutes and I played the Shocker boss fight and it was really hype. While I was playing the Shocker boss fight, I also received an email from EmoShape showing that they were interested in like doing the sponsorship thing and that they hit me back up Monday. So I was hype as fuck just the whole time. It was great. Nani said that Transforming Frieza is going to be back in June when LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta come out. Interesting. Do you feel like a lot of people are going to jump on it because it's really good, or do you think people are going to be trying to get that Goku and Vegeta instead? But the Shocker boss battle, I've heard a lot of people complain about it because it's like really cut and dry, and it is. It actually is like really simple. I did die a few times, but I even though I died a few times, I still beat the fight in under 10 minutes, and I think that says a lot. I think it's because I didn't know when Shocker was gonna do something different, and I forgot how to dodge properly. So I kept swinging and still getting hit, and I was like, I thought I could swing out of the way of that, but I just wasn't dodging the way that I was supposed to. And I should have seen it coming as you like whittle down the character's health that he would start doing different things. But I was kind of getting fucked at certain points. Still beat him in under 10 minutes. I was really happy about that. I was also really happy that Emo Shape has shown so much interest in the sponsorship. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Nani said they're gonna go after that Goku and Vegeta because they're busted as well, and their animations. Don't get me stated. You didn't even say started. Don't get me stated. Your boy Nani said, I'm saving my stones until June. He says, I have 585 stones. So that's what you're grinding for. You're trying to get as many stones as you can so that you can try and get Goku and Vegeta. That's understandable. Do you watch like Nanogenics and Rhyme Style in them who play Dokkan? I'm subscribed to them, but I don't actually watch their Dokkan videos. Nani said, yeah, and they gave us like 150 stones for free. So Dokkan did? Oh, that's ballin'. And then Nani said, yeah, I watch them sometimes. I watch like some of their non-Dokkan content. I really like hearing Rhyme Style shit on Xenoverse. He loves the game, but he's like, I've been directly to Bandai and I've told them what's wrong with the game and how they can fix it, and they never fix it, but they keep dropping more DLC, and I don't know what's going on. And I just think it's interesting. Very rarely do people get direct audiences with companies and then be able to tell them like this is what's wrong with your game. I have proof that this is what's wrong with your game. Please fix your game. And then they can just look and see that the game's not being fixed and be like the fuck. And then Nani said, are they gonna bring out more DLC? I'm not sure. I'm surprised every time Xenoverse drops more DLC. Not gonna lie, because I keep thinking we're gonna get a Xenoverse 3. And my hope is that Xenoverse 3 comes out and you can stream it. Because if they make Xenoverse 3 streamable, I think I can be happy with the Xenoverse thing. Because right now, I just don't fuck with Xenoverse 2. I can't stream it. Whenever I play games, I stream them. And if I can't stream it, it just becomes more or less a useless game. I never play My Heroes 1 Justice because of that. Because I can stream doing like combo tutorials and shit, but if you can't stream the like story mode, it takes a lot out of it. Um, but you can't stream Xenoverse 2 at all. Like the whole fucking game can't be streamed. That's ridiculous. So Xenoverse 3, I'd like it if I could at least stream the fights. If they're gonna give me something, because that's what Jump Force is like. Jump Force is like you can at least stream the fights, but you can't really stream much anything else. Nani said, I really enjoyed the Xeno games. So far, I'm liking Xenoverse 2. And then Nani said, yeah, I saw that it doesn't. It saw the cutscene or something is blocked. So most games will say that like cutscene is blocked or whatever. But there's a difference between blocking cutscenes and blocking like gameplay. I believe for My Heroes 1 Justice, you can't stream the story mode at all. So for that, you can't stream like the cutscenes in the story mode, and you can't stream like the actual gameplay during the story mode. For Xenoverse 2, you can't stream the whole fucking game. Nothing about the game can be streamed. Nani said, you should try again. I don't know what would have changed, Nani. And I also don't know why they would like jump back on that. Nani said that's weird. It's old though. I mean, it is old, which may be the reason why they thought back in the day. I think it's inconsistent. That's my issue with it. Because the Naruto games are also made by like Bandai Namco, but they don't have the weird stream restriction. Nani said, is the music copyrighted or something? Then you think the Naruto games wouldn't let you stream, because they should have like the same issue. So I don't really understand why Xenoverse specifically is like that. Um, and My Hero's weird because you can still stream modes that aren't the story mode. So if I play like the challenge mode, I could stream it. And if I play like the practice mode where I do like the combo challenges, I can stream it. But like I can't stream the story. And I think that's their way of trying to keep you from spoiling the story of the game. I don't really know. But making your whole game unstreamable, I think in the modern day, is just kind of bullshit because it's not something on the box. It's not something that I can know before I buy it that I can't do. And I just think that kind of cheats you out of your money. Because if you just told me I couldn't stream it, then I wouldn't buy it. I just wouldn't get it in the first place. So that's my big thing. Um, so after I beat Shocker on Spider-Man for PS4, and I received my email from Emo Shape showing that they'd be interested in like sponsoring my project, and they're gonna offer me some tech that's worth like $4,500 for only like $190. That's a huge discount for me to like make a demo for them. So I'm really hyped to potentially be working with this company. They said they're gonna get back with me on Monday. I sent them my resume and everything. So I think it'll be great, and I feel like it'll be a cool thing to add to my resume and maybe help me get a job with SMAP, which is like a big thing that I'm trying to do. After that, we did the fan poll stream. Before I get into that, I see Nani posted something else. Nani says, so basically, you need OBS or something to stream it. Some people stream the game. And then Nani said, wait, what are they going to give you? So the way that I stream, I don't use any like special like software or anything like that. I only use stuff like the built-in PS4 streaming or the built-in capability of the YouTube app in order to stream. So I don't use any encoders or anything like that, and I shouldn't have to. I bought a console that specifically has a share button to make streaming easier, so I'm not gonna go out of my way to do extra shit to stream. And then Nani said, "What if you use OBS?" I feel like I shouldn't have to. That's my thing about it. I feel like it's bullshit for them to have games where they expect me to use other stuff. Because when I bought the console, that wasn't the point. If I wanted to like play any console I wanted and just stream it, um, maybe I would have just gotten a different console. You know what I mean? I think that's odd. And then Nani said, that's weird. So yeah, I just think that's kind of because I bought a PS4 specifically because I can just stream straight from it. So I think it's bullshit to get other stuff. Nani says it seems that it only happens to anime games. To specific anime games, though. That's the thing. Because it's My Heroes 1 Justice and it's Xenoverse 2. But all the Naruto games I have are fine to stream. And Fighter Z, which is another Dragon Ball game, is fine to stream. So I don't fucking get it. I don't know why I can stream Fighter Z and I can stream all the Naruto games. And it's not like I have like one or two Naruto games. I have four fucking Naruto games. Why can I stream all these Naruto games and Fighter Z? No problem. And Jump Force. Jump Force blocks the story, but I can still stream the fights. I can't stream shit as Xenoverse 2. I don't get it. And then Nani said, have you checked online? Checked online for like what? Just other people who stream it? Because other people who stream it probably just use other stuff. And then Nani said, have I looked up like why can't I stream Xenoverse 2 or Jump or My Hero? I feel like there's nothing really to search because the PS4 is just straight up like when you hit broadcast, right? The PS4 will either tell you like you can't broadcast it, which is something that they like have put like on the disc. That's not like a thing that like is like an error or like it's definitely a game specific thing that the developer said we don't want it to get streamed. You know what I mean? And in Xenoverse 2's case, it lets you do it if you have like Twitch. Like if you streamed on Twitch, you could stream this game. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. Because that doesn't, to me, that doesn't even make sense. Why make it where I could stream it just on this platform? Like, unless Twitch is like paying you for that, I don't understand what benefit you get. I don't get what benefit I get. That's just fucking dumb. So I don't fuck with it. To me, that's just really weird. And back to your question where you were like, wait, what are they going to give you? So EmoShape is a company that I've been talking with recently via like email. Nani said, true, I don't like Twitch. I don't have anything against Twitch, but I've been on YouTube for like a big portion of my life. Like ever since I've like had a camera where I could film my own shit, I've been like posting things to YouTube. And I feel like it's about time for YouTube to stop cucking me. So I'm continuing to like try and climb up the ranks through YouTube to try and like make my channel like more of a thing because I used to get paid for YouTube before they changed the system, and now I'm finally eligible to get paid, and I'm just waiting for YouTube to hit me back up and tell me if they are gonna agree to make me a partner again or not. But I'm not giving up on YouTube. I feel like even if YouTube was like you can't be monetized, I'd be like I've been here too long. I just do enjoy the platform. I just would prefer if they didn't cuck me. That'd be great. Um, but Nani, you asked, wait, what are they going to give you? So, like I said, I've been talking with EmoShape via email. I just was asking them a few questions about their ExoLife Emotion Engine, which is this device that allows for game developers to make games where the characters in the game actually have like their own thoughts and emotions, and you can talk to them and they like have their own opinions. Like that's like the selling point of EmoShape is that we're a company who's gonna make like machines and video game characters actually like sentient, where they like have their own thoughts and feelings. So I'm hitting them up, just asking them questions because their ExoLife Emotion Engine got cut to like half price recently, and that has to do with how computer chips work. So because of the fact that they have this specific chip called an emotional processing unit, every time they come out with the newest version of the chip, the oldest version of the chip becomes less worth it. Like, why would you get an EPU 1, an emotional processing unit 1, when EPU 2 is out? So they're announcing EPU 3, so all their EPU 2 stuff is like half as expensive as it was before. And I honestly was considering buying an ExoLife back when it was like twice as much as it is now. So when they cut the price, I was like, fuck, now I really want one, because now it just is easier to get one. So I'm asking them all these questions, trying to figure out whether or not it'd be worth my money to buy it. And I brought up a specific thing that I want. Like, yo, like, I'm interested in. Oh, well, hold on. A few people jumped into the live chat. So Agent 13 said, "Oh my gosh, what happened to your hand? Didn't see it before. Vitiligo? So you're asking about like my hands? I'm just light skinned. Like I don't know what you mean by like vitiligo." And then Nani said, "So it's a robot?" No. So in order to try and explain the exolife a little bit more, it's a hardware thing that you plug into your computer, and the hardware is essentially Emo Shape's way of allowing developers to create software that then can express emotions and have thoughts and feelings and ideas. So I'm really interested in creating games with characters who actually can like think and have their own opinions and have their own emotions. And Nani's like, "Oh, that's cool." So the Exolife right now is $190. But it's made for you to make games in like Unity and Unreal Engine, which are really popular engines that are used for a lot of games that you guys play now. Um, Let me look at the back of Xenoverse 2. I'm trying to see if it has like the Unreal Engine sticker. Because I imagine this game was made in Unreal, but I can't prove it unless it says it on the back of the box. If it's not hit this one, gonna pull Fighter Z. Jared War said, "Whoa, yo, Jared, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you." Three questions to everybody who popped onto the stream. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on stream? Right now, I'm talking about what I've been doing with the Emo Shape. Is a company. Jared Wars said, "Can you subscribe to me?" Jared Wars, I don't even know what your channel does. What does your channel do? You gotta sell it to me. Why would I subscribe to your channel? What kind of content do you make? Uh, you know, Give me an idea of why I would subscribe. Nani said, "Are these trolls? Are you talking about Agent 13 and Jared Wars?" I have no idea. They're new. That's the only thing I know. I could have sworn. Hey, there we go. So here it is. On Fighter Z, you can see they have the little like Unreal Engine logo. So like Fighter Z was made in Unreal Engine. The idea of the Exolife Emotion Engine is to make games that are like in Unreal or in Unity, normally like 3D games. But I didn't want to make anything like that. I have no experience with Unreal Engine or with Unity, but I program Python. Python is like my favorite programming language to mess with. So I started asking EmoShape about making like a text-based game using their hardware, and whether or not their hardware could satisfy that. And they said it can't really. So the Exolife is made specifically for games like this that have like 3D model characters that like feel and express emotions and talk and think. They're like, what I want requires hardware that's way more expensive, like hardware that costs $4,500 if I was to buy it, as you like to say, Nani, out of pocket. Um, but they're like, we're so interested in the idea, like the project that you're proposing, that will sponsor your project and give you this hella expensive, almost $5,000 like technology for the price of the other one. Not only that, but we'll like edit them together. We'll like put them together so it's like an Exolife plus the other thing for just the cost of the Exolife for me to like make my own game and then give a copy of it to them to use as a gimmo, not a gimmo, a demo game for the Exolife as something that like people can see so that they can show off the technology and what it's capable of. Let's see. Jared War said, "I do videos. I don't know what I do." What kind of videos do you do, Jared Wars? Nani said, "One of them have the oh yeah yeah pic." I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that's a meme. Then Jared Wars asked if I'm Jewish. No. Easy answer. But yeah, when it comes to the emo shape stuff and the exo life and everything, I'm really excited to be working with them and to get the opportunity to work with such like high end hardware and to be able to start making my own games that have characters who have their own like thoughts and feelings and ideas, because I feel like that's like some Tron shit. That's like some weird Mega Man shit. Stuff that's like written about in like science fiction books, and you hear about it in like movies and stuff like that. But Emo Shape claims that we have that technology now, and they're willing to put that tech in my hands and tell me to make what I want with it and give it to them. I'm down because with that tech, I can then make whatever I want past that. I can do that one project for them and still have access to like this thicky technology. This technology that's so expensive, I shouldn't really be able to have my hands on it, but I do. I think that's fucking crazy. So if they do hit me up on Monday and they're like, hey, we want to go forward with the project, I have so many ideas for what I want to do with this tech. You have no idea. Jared Wars said, I bet you get a lot of white women after you. Uh, don't even get me started, Jared Wars. That's like a whole thing. um, but I am excited to work with the emo shaped tech. I feel like there's a lot of weird moral and like philosophical things that go with it. My friend White David is really excited about it. He's like, just from like a gameplay standpoint, I think it would be really cool if you could get your hands on that technology and like make a game. My boy Aiden, aka Winslow, he's really interested, but he wants to use it for something else instead of it being like a game. He wants it to be like a tool used to make programs. And I understand where Aiden's coming from because I like the idea. I'm just not sure if the technology is there yet for that, like for what he's requesting. I definitely believe that where he's going is the future, but I'm not sure if you need, excuse me, exolife for that. I feel like exolife, like the idea of it being sentient, isn't necessarily required. Jarrett Ward said white David. He said, "Are you black David?" So we have three Davids in our friend group: white David, black David, and Dozer. So white David and black David, we only have the color differentiator because we realized it got confusing when we would just say David, because it would be hard to tell who you were referring to at a certain point. And it was just pretty easy to say black David and white David, and everyone knows who everybody's talking about. And then Dozer, he got his nickname while we were like doing a Walmart trip and looking at action figures. One of the action figures from like this weird Walmart brand appeared in like an official licensed products packaging, but it was the same figure, and its name was Dozer, and that's where David got his nickname from. So that's the three David's nicknames and the reasonings for why they have those nicknames. White David's white, Black David's black, and David and I ran into a crazy action figure. So that's where all those nicknames came from. Nani said lol out of pocket. Jarrett Ward said, is there a brown David? Nope. Nani said he does get a lot of white women. Nani said his nickname's Jared, if you've ever heard of it. I mean, as far as we know, Jared could be his nickname. It's possible. Um, but I'm really excited to start working with Emo Shape if they decide to hit me up. I guess we'll know by Monday whether or not Emo Shape's interested in working on a project together, and sponsoring me and offering me really expensive technology that they shouldn't. I think that'd be really cool. And I'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that. Matt, aka Mr. Hand, he doesn't want me to fuck with it at all. He's like, you're gonna make Ultron, you're gonna make like an evil robot thing, it's gonna like hate people, and he's like, you shouldn't mess with it at all unless you have my supervision. Like Matt straight up started acting like he was a parent. He's like, we gotta put some parental locks on this shit. Gerard's like, hey, if that's something that you're interested in, you feel really passionate about, then I feel like you should go for it. It seems like a cool opportunity. So Gerard was really supportive. Matt's afraid I'm gonna like blow up the earth. White David's like, oh man, that's gonna be like an awesome opportunity. And Aiden's like, what if we use it for not games? And that's like where we're going with it. Nani said, lol, Matt always hating. And then Nani said, so he said robots will kill you? So because the exolife can make virtual characters who have their own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, Matt thinks that I'm gonna make like an evil thing. Like because they can think for themselves and they have their own feelings, Matt thinks that I'm gonna make something that's gonna just turn evil and just wreck shit. Then Jarrett Wars said, who are you? what is this? Yo, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. This is the Nickabenson vlog. On these vlogs, pretty much I talk about my day and I have discussions with you guys in the live chat. Who are you? And then Nani's like, who are you? Are you random? But welcome. It's good to have you. We do this, and we also do fan polls Monday through Thursday, where you guys can vote for what you'd like to see, and whatever gets the most votes is what we do on the channel. With a few limitations, all those rules are included in the description of a fan poll video. If you're interested in learning more about them, I'd highly recommend that you check one out. And other than that, we'll just do random stuff. We have a few other randomly scheduled things, like we'll play like D&D on a pretty regular basis on the channel twice a week. So yeah. Nani said a normie read, torch it, Nick. I don't like kick people or anything. Like, he's free to just chill and just say or do whatever. It's fine. And besides, you never know. Jared Wars could become a regular. He could enjoy the content. He could actually be a pretty cool dude. Or she, not assuming gender. We don't know. Jared Wars will tell us if they feel like that matters. It's whatever. Um, but yeah, I have a whole lot of information about like what I want to do with the emo shape, and I'm thinking of more ideas. I'm thinking about maybe writing a document where I just go over all my ideas. And Ani said, "What if Jared is Gerard?" Nope. Gerard on YouTube is Bangzel, and he actually has his own YouTube channel where he does gaming content, but he doesn't do it like on a regular basis. Um, but yeah, I don't think he'd name himself Jared Wars. That's also not how Gerard spells his name, like at all. And then he says, I'm non binary. Well, sorry. They say they're bin. They're, bleh. Jared says they're non binary. There we go. Easy fix. Easy way to like phrase that. Nani said, tell Bangzel to link his channel. Most def. I'll be hanging out with Gerard tomorrow. So at some point tomorrow, I'll be able to like talk to him about it. Because I could like shout him out on like a video while we're playing like D&D. That could be pretty dope. Let's see. But enough about the Emo Shape sponsorship. Right now, that's still up in the air. We won't know whether or not I actually will or will not get the sponsorship until Monday. But all I can really say now is that Emo Shape has shown a lot of interest in it and that they have offered a really expensive product this costs thousands and thousands of dollars normally in the consumer market to me for a significant discount. So we'll definitely like see how that goes. But after I beat the Shocker in Spider-Man PS4 live in under 10 minutes, I played Dueling Nexus for today's fan poll stream, and I had a blast. I started off with a hard loss against Ryan, but I seemed to improve exponentially as the stream continued. Also, your boy Kratos got to join the stream for the first time in a hot minute, and that was interesting to be able to like see Kratos join in once again. Kratos used to always be on the streams, but I feel like he just works a lot now. Nani said, "Dope. It's your friend, your boy." Let's see. So after I played Dueling Nexus for today's fan poll stream, I went to my business strategy class, which I always do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I didn't actually participate in the discussion this time around. So I've been sick. I have like a cold, and I've been slowly getting over the cold as the week has continued. But right before class, I had like a coughing fit. I had like mucus like stuck in my throat, and I kept coughing, and I would like go and drink water, and it still wouldn't like fix my coughing. And then right as class started, it seemed like my coughing fit had stopped, but then my nose started running, just like a shit ton. Um, and I didn't want to talk during class and like have my nose running or suddenly getting a coughing fit or something. But business strategy is my favorite class, like at UAH right now. Like in my current semester, not favorite class of all time. Favorite class of all time would probably be my first philosophy class and my English 102 classes, which are both classes I took very early on in my college career. Those were the bomb. Really enjoyed those. But for my current semester, business strategy is my favorite because it's based on us like having a discussion and sharing different ideas and logic and how we think about different situations. And I wanted to chime in during class, but I didn't want to chime in and it just be gross or suddenly I get in like a coughing fit and it just disrupt it. So I kind of like kept my mouth shut in order to prevent from potentially like making the class session worse rather than better. I think I chimed in like a couple times, but normally I try to be really active in the discussion because it's like one of my favorite classes. So after my business strategy class, I went to Main Bowl. Yes. So if you've been keeping up with the vlog for like most of February, you've heard me bitch about Main Bowl and you've heard me bitch about Dunkin' Donuts. We have these two restaurants on campus. We have a lot more than these two, but these are the two that I normally go to. I normally go to Main Bowl or I go to Dunkin' Donuts. And my issue with Dunkin' Donuts is that like the lines are too long, and even when you're in the front of the line, they'll like mess up your order, and you gotta wait forever for something that you didn't order, and it's bullshit. And I wish that Dunkin's customer service was better and that they like gave you your stuff faster, you know. And then my thing about Main Bowl is like Main Bowl almost never has a line. You can just go up there and it's the kind of like place where you name everything that you want, you watch them load it into the tray and they just give it to you. So it's just super convenient. You like can get your food like that. It just takes like no time to like get like a full thing of food and it's like reasonably priced and it's great. I feel like I end up spending more money at Dunkin' Donuts than I do at Main Bowl, but Main Bowl is just better service. The issue that I've had with Main Bowl for like a whole fucking month has been what my side item should be. Whenever I go, I always get the orange chicken and the white rice. And I've been experimenting with the third item for like weeks, trying to figure out like what's that perfect third item to have with the orange chicken and white rice. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. This time around, I went back to something that I'd done before, but I ate it differently and I liked it. So it's the General Tso's chicken. I've already tried it before, and last time I had it, I was like, I don't like the weird garlicky taste of the General Tso's chicken, because I'm eating orange chicken like in the same like tray, and I feel like I prefer the sweet flavor of the orange chicken. And whenever I taste like the garlicky flavor of the General Tso's, I'm like, I don't fuck with it. Like it's just not as good as the orange chicken, and it makes the meal not as good. This time around, knowing that the General Tso's is like more garlicky, I went back and forth on purpose. So instead of eating like a little bit of the orange chicken and then like a little bit of the General Tso's, also real quick, Nani said, "Bro, orange chicken is amazing." What the fuck, Nick? I like the orange chicken. I'm not shitting on the orange chicken. I'm saying that when I first had it, right, I liked the orange chicken more than the General Tso's, and because of that, I didn't want the General Tso's. I had gotten the orange chicken, the General Tso's, and the white rice, and then as I was eating it, whenever I would take a bite out of the General Tso's, I'd be like, "This isn't as good as the orange chicken, and it's more garlicky." And I would just prefer to be eating orange chicken, not eating General Tso's. So I had it like once, like the General Tso's, and I didn't fuck with it. The orange chicken's been a constant throughout each time I've been eating at Main Bowl. Keep up, Nani. I've been talking about the orange chicken and how much I like it for like a whole month. You know I like orange chicken. This isn't new. So what I did this time around to finally figure out what the perfect Main Bowl tray is I would switch back and forth between eating a piece of the General Tso's and a piece of the orange chicken. And what it does is it creates like a interesting flavor contrast on purpose. The issue before is that I wasn't looking for a flavor contrast. I wanted their General Tso's chicken to be a little bit sweeter to kind of complement the sweetness of the orange chicken. And I felt like the contrast was too strong and it was fucking up my palate. I was like, I don't like this. This time around, I would purposely go like a little bit of salt and a little bit of garlic, a little bit of not salt, sorry, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of garlic, and doing it on purpose like that, going back and forth between the orange chicken and the General Tso's chicken, is good. I love the like contrast and flavor going from like the sweet to the savory, and I feel like I finally know what my normal thing will be when I go to Main Bowl. I'm gonna get the orange chicken, the General Tso's chicken, and the white rice. So you know what that means? That means 9 times out of 10, fuck Dunkin' Donuts. I would rather go to Main Bowl where I can get guaranteed good food. I can always order the same shit and they'll never fuck it up. That's what I like. Nani said, okay, I was about to say, yeah. Question in my love of orange chicken. Yo, John Mason, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? John Mason said, I'm now getting ready to leave for school. How are you so late? so, I'm still like early on in my day, believe it or not, and like my description of what I've been up to. But long story short, when it comes to like how I got so late, on Thursdays we play D&D with Matt, Colin, and Gerard. Colin always has to dip early, but me, Matt, and Gerard will hang out like late into the night, talking and watching anime. And Gerard and Matt just didn't leave until like hella late. I think I might have said the wrong names. Colin leaves early. Matt and Gerard always come and hang out afterwards. They just stayed really late, and then that means I didn't get a chance to exercise and shower until really late. And then I didn't start the stream until after I'd finished exercising and showering. So that's why the stream is so late. Then Nani said, "Can you join my amino jet?" Believe it or not, I used to be in a whole bunch of aminos. And then I was like, no. So what I learned is there's no reason to join an amino where you feel like you won't actually do anything and you won't be like active in it. Um, so the only aminos that I'm in right now, and one of them I probably shouldn't be in because I haven't really been doing anything with it. Um, Comic Maker amino, Pocket Writers, in the Nickabenson Nation amino. I'm in the Nickabenson Nation amino because I want to give you guys a way to where you can contact me and like talk with me outside of YouTube if you ever need to. And it creates like a private message setting. Believe it or not, you can actually private message on YouTube. But Amino has a lot of additional features, like you guys being able to post like your fan art and blogs and things of that nature. So I think the Amino for the YouTube community is really cool because it's a great way for us to like hang out and like share stuff. I'm a part of Pocket Writers because my friend Bo made Pocket Writers. And the thing is, me and Bo used to hang out until he like moved. Like Bo's not like in the area anymore. He lives in like a completely different state. And Pocket Writers is a good way for me and Bo to not only stay in contact, but to like talk about different story ideas because he's also a writer, and he's really into a lot of like Chinese books, like things that are written in Chinese, not necessarily English translated, and like he reads it. So I really like being able to like talk and hang out with Bo. And it's just something that I can't always do. So Pocket Writers is a way to be able to do that. And then Comic Maker Amino, I joined that specifically because I was looking for artists who are interested in getting their name out there because I write a lot of books, but I'm not good at drawing at all. So I was saying like, hey, if you're interested in like drawing art for like some of my books, I think that'd be cool. And I had a few people who like showed interest, um, and they were like, yeah, you don't have to pay me or anything, just like give me credit. I'd be totally down. I'm like, yeah, but they wanted to take on really big projects and they never really finished. So it would be a thing where it's like, here, I'm gonna send you like a copy of like the book that I just published. I'd like to publish another version of it that had illustrations, and they'll be like, I'm gonna illustrate this whole book. I'm gonna illustrate like all the scenes I really like from the book, and I'm gonna make it like a comic. And then no one who like accepted that ever then went like the full way. So I never actually ended up making illustrated copies of those books because they would just get busy with school and other things and they'd just be unable to do it. So that's what ended up happening with that. Let's see. Nani said, "Why if you can just lurk?" I don't want to lurk on like Amino. I feel like Amino is a good place to join and be active in communities, but when you're not, it's just kind of there, and I'd just rather not. Then John Mason said, "Nick, want to do my homework?" Lol. No thanks, John Mason. Then John Mason said, "I'm doing it right now. It's not much though." Speaking of doing homework, I did homework during yesterday's like dueling book stream, and that was pretty cool. I don't know. Rarely do I ever do homework in stream, but knowing that that's something I can do, I thought was kind of cool. Um, so after main bowl, well, not even after main bowl, getting back into like talking about my day. I had to rush through my meal. I had like just found like the perfect meal to get from Main Bowl. And then one of my friends is like, "Yo, the statistics teacher, he's going to have a study session today before the test." And I'm like, "Yo, that's cool. Like when is he having the study session?" He's having it in 15 minutes. And I was like, the fuck? And he's like, and it's not in the right classroom either. It's like in a different room in the building. And I was like at my dorm eating fucking Chinese food. I'm like, I gotta like scarf that shit down, grab all my shit. Class isn't for like an hour and a half. I'm like, why is he doing the study session so early? I rush over to the business building and I get there way before the teacher does. So the teacher apparently said I'll be there sometime between 4:30 and 5. My friend was like 15 minutes. He didn't give me the opportunity to maybe come at 5. So I ended up getting there early. Um, and I'll talk about the study session in a minute. Nani said, "You're not a bear." Talking about the scarfing stuff down. And then John Mason said, "It's due today, lol." Yo, best of. I was about to say rest in peace. Best of luck. Best of luck, John Mason. You got this. I believe in you. Um, so I rushed to the study session, and during the study session, this was really interesting. One girl called out the teacher for doing one of the problems incorrectly. The teacher wasn't doing like a random sample problem. He was doing a problem from the test. He was showing us a problem that was for sure going to be on the test and like showing how you're supposed to solve it. And this one girl straight up was like, "That's just wrong. And you taught us that like a couple weeks ago." And I tried to do that on the homework, and I checked in the back of the book, and the back of the book said I was wrong as fuck. And then she was like, "So I read the book, and the book taught me to do it using the elimination method. And when I used the elimination method, I got the same answer as the book." And then the teacher was like, "I don't know what the fuck the elimination method is. Uh, if this works, would you mind demonstrating it to the class?" And she's like, "Sure." And she stands up, and I immediately notice she's not wearing like normal clothes. She's dressed in business casuals. Like she's dressed as if she is a teacher, but she's definitely like my age or younger. It's like this redhead girl with like short hair. She goes up to the front and she starts writing all this shit on the board, and she's like, "So what you're doing is setting these two things equal to each other, but that's just mathematically incorrect. What you have to do is you have to multiply the top equation by -2, and then you have to add the equations together. And then once you add the equations together, you can solve for x2. And then once you solve for x2, you can plug it back into the first equation, and you do all this other shit." And the teacher's there like, I didn't know. I didn't, what? And then she's like, "Now try to do it your way, and you're going to get the wrong answer." So he continues doing it his way, and he gets the wrong answer. And I was like, the fuck? And the girl next to me was like, "So, which way is it going to be on the test? Is the wrong answer the right answer on the test? Or is the way that she did it the right answer on the test?" And the teacher's like, like, like the fuck, like I don't know what to do. Nani then said, "So you got murked," I think in reference to either me having to rush to the study session or John Mason having homework due today. And then Nani says, "So she's smart as fuck." Apparently. I mean, it, it's interesting to say smart as fuck. The only confirmed feat we know is that she actually read the textbook, and that our teacher may not have read the textbook. And then John Mason said, "If it's me, lol, yeah, Nani." Uh, so he more or less said, "You know what? If you do it either way, you'll get credit." And I'm like, I don't know what that means, like, in all honesty. Because if he doesn't remember the way that she just told us, how does he know what the right way is? Like, I don't know. So, not only that, but when it was actually time for the exam, the teacher started, like, passing out the exam papers. And then as he's passing out the exam papers, um, this girl walks in and she's like, "Sorry, I'm late. Could I have an exam?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. The papers are getting passed around the room." And as he says that, A group of girls in like the top row, one of them being the redhead girl, says, "You're out of test." And that nigga goes, "What?" So he's like, "What do you mean I'm out of test?" He's like, "How many people are in this class?" I think he said something along the lines of like, "Our class only has like a little over 50 students," and he said he had almost like 60 things printed. Like he specifically had more things printed than there are people in the class to make sure that it would be impossible for there to be like not enough tests. So as he says this, one of the people in the class just leaves, just as he's talking. And my friend Colin, not the Colin that you guys are aware of, not Q, a different Colin who's in like the business school, he's sitting like near the back of the classroom, but he got loud as fuck. He laughs and he goes, "He just left." And the guy who left is this one black guy. And I shit you not, the black guy does this. And just dips. He just dips the fuck out. And I was like, what? That nigga heard there weren't enough tests, and he was like, not a test for me. I thought that shit was hilarious. So Nani said lol, and then Nani said, so your teacher got eliminated. And then John Mason said lol, and then Nani said lol, why did he do that? Because all we were doing today was the test. It wasn't like we had a test and like lecture. It was like you take the test and you go home. So that nigga was like, I don't have a test. And he dipped out so hard. And the teacher didn't say anything about it until I heard what Colin said and then looked at the guy leave. And I was like, oh shit, he's right. Like I out loud was like, he left. And then Nani said, he could do that? I don't think you're supposed to. The teacher then was like, where did he go? And he knew him by name. He like said his name. He was like, where did like such and such go? But the teacher ended up getting all the people together who didn't have test, and he more or less said, sorry fam, I don't have test. And those niggas just left. They didn't have to take the test. He was like, oh, I guess I just don't have enough. So you guys just get to go. And I was like, damn. That's one of those things where if you just knew where to sit, like if you knew where he was going to start passing out the papers and you knew that he was out of some, you could just sit there and wouldn't have had to have taken the test. My ass wasn't sure if the teacher was going to have us move all our stuff to the front of the room or not. So some teachers are like, don't bring shit to class. And if you bring anything to class, put it in the front of the room. For the first test I had in my statistics class, I didn't bring anything. But then the teacher was like, you know what? I'm not going to have anyone put their stuff in the front of the room this time. I'm going to trust you guys to like not fuck up. And then after we got our like test back and he like told us our grades and shit, he was like, I heard some people like tried to cheat on the last test. Like I heard some people were like looking around and shit. And based on what he said, I was like, oh, well, I imagine next time he'll have us put our shit in the front of the classroom. Um, but during the study session, he didn't mention it. So what I did is I was like, I'm going to sit front and center, which is what I normally do. But normally in statistics, I end up sitting in the back because Chase doesn't like sitting so close to the screen. I don't know. He says like I can't see and I have to like look up to look at the screen because the class is like elevated the farther you go back. So he's like if I sit in the back, I'm like at eye level with the screen or whatever and I'm like Chase, I assure you, you're not going to get neck cramps. I sit front and center all the time, but he just doesn't accept that. So I end up sitting in the back so I'm able to like hang out with Chase during class. But I'm like, I'm not about to hang out with Chase. This is a test. And if he wants us to move all our shit to the front, I'd rather be sitting in the front so that I can easily like get up and put my shit in the front. So I sat front and center, so I was one of the first niggas to get a test, so I couldn't just luck out and not have to take the test. John Mason said, Nick, I like this time for streams. He said, I can actually be awake. I feel like you're one of the only people who can do that. And then Nani says, so they got credit? No, they didn't get credit. Those people who didn't take the test are just going to have to take it later. Like, that's more or less what's going to end up happening. Um, so because they couldn't take the test then, they just have more time to study. And I feel like that could be advantageous. So if you didn't feel prepared, right, and you were just going into the test, Nani said, "Ooh, rip." I don't think that's a rip. I don't think that's a rip at all, because even if you felt prepared for the test, you can now just be even more prepared. You just have more time to like study and get ready. I feel like all those people who didn't take the test today have an extra leg up because not only do they have more time to study, you can talk to niggas who have already taken the test and go, "What should I be studying?" So you can be like, "What are the actually important things that I need to look at?" Because they may be given like a different test, but even if they are given a different test, they could like know the basics of what's on it. And then Nani's like, "Oh shit, Nick, you're correct." Yeah, it's just by taking a test later than everyone else, you just get so many like bonuses. That's why a lot of teachers make their makeup test entirely different to make sure that you can't get that kind of leg up. Um, and I think there were like maybe 6 or 7 people who didn't take the test today. They just got to go home. And if I was in that group of people, I don't have any classes after like Thursday. So I could have essentially just not sat through a big ass test and just immediately went to go hang out with the guys. But it was all about knowing where to sit, and I didn't know that that was going to happen. And the people who didn't take the test didn't know it was going to happen. Or did they? Conspiracy? Don't know. But, you know, it's an interesting situation. Um, Believe it or not, that test was easy as fuck. Not going to lie. Um, so I had not studied for this test ahead of time at all. Like, I did no studying. I went to the study session that the teacher had, and the teacher more or less went over every question on the test, but didn't let us know that that's what he had done. And I thought that was really interesting. Um, so he more or less covered everything that was going to be on the test, but he would say stuff like, "I'm gonna skip these," but in reality he didn't skip them. So he still just goes over everything. And sometimes he'd go over a question and do most of the work, but then not show the answer. Sometimes he'd do shit like that. But you still would get the idea of what you needed to do in order to finish it off. So when he showed us like the final test and we were taking it, I feel like anyone who went to the study session is like, "Oh, I already know this. Oh, I already know this. Oh, I already know this." He also gives you like a formula sheet. It's just like a blank sheet of paper, and you can write on the front side of it like any formulas that you think you might need on the test. So in the study session, any formulas he brought up, I just wrote them down. So then I was just hella ready for this test. So I feel like that test was easy as fuck. I think the worst possible grade I could have made on that test is like a B. I feel like I killed that test. John Mason said, "To be fair, you got it done, so while they're doing it, you're free." That's true. And Nani said, "So I have this teacher named Mr. G, and guess what? What?" He said he has a tattoo on his face of the letter G. Is that true, Nani? That sounds straight out of a cartoon. That sounds like not a real person. How big is this letter G on his face? Does he have like a Hisoka tattoo? Like something that's like a little G? Or does he have a big ass G just on his face? John Mason said, "Wow, that's like in my short story, Nick." And then Nani says, "It's small." Okay. Because it does sound like something straight out of a short story. A John Mason short story. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da. He said, "Remember the old lady had the H on her head?" John Mason's like, "Come on." And G and H are next to each other in the alphabet. Coincidence? I think not. Teacher sounded like a fictional character created by John Mason, Nani. Think about it. Anyways, so my friend Ray called me, which I thought was really interesting. So you guys may not be familiar with Ray. He's been on old videos on the channel, like videos from like 2015, 2016. I'd say probably 2016, 2017. You start seeing Ray appear in videos. Ray also used to do rap stuff, but I don't think we have any videos of him rapping. He would write raps a lot more than he would perform them. But your boy Ray, I used to hang out with Ray like all the time. We used to be roommates. We would hang out during like breaks where other people went on vacation. We just chill at the dorm and relax. And I just haven't heard from Ray in a hot minute. He was going to school, going to UAH, and he was a business student like me. But what ended up happening is that his family was paying for his college, and then a family emergency happened where they had to like push a bunch of money toward fixing this emergency, but that money took away from Ray's ability to go to college. So Ray, instead of doing college, started just working all the time. So he was working like two like full time jobs, just bouncing back and forth between like his jobs. And then he got like a girlfriend who lived in like another area. So he would like go to work, go to work, go visit his girlfriend, driving like a hella long time, go to sleep in his car, wake up, drive to work, go to work. Like he was just nonstop, just going to work and visiting his girlfriend until eventually he said fuck it and he joined the Air Force. So since Ray has joined the Air Force, I haven't really heard from him. Um, at some point, Ray actually asked Maddie to marry him. That was before me and Maddie got married. But like Ray straight up was like, "Yo, Maddie, like, do you want to like get hitched? The Air Force is gonna move me to like Texas, and me and you, we could like get married, we could live in Texas together." And Maddie was like, "Nah." So Ray has like strong feelings for Maddie, and like me, Ray, and Maddie are like all mutual friends. And I haven't really had a chance to really talk to Ray since me and Maddie got married. Ray was one of the first people I wanted to tell about the marriage, and then Maddie was like, "Don't tell Ray." But then Ray ended up learning anyways because Maddie posted something on Instagram. I don't know why she didn't want me to tell Ray. Thought that was fucking weird. But Ray's back in town from the Air Force. And it's gonna be like one of my first times seeing Ray in like a hot minute. I think Ray has been back in town before I got married to Maddie. We were all hanging out at Jonathan's apartment. Not Jonathan who lives with Aiden, but Jonathan who's a mutual friend of me, Jared, and Ray. Um, but Ray wasn't really free to like really talk or hang out that much. So now, me and Ray may or may not be able to hang out, but for whatever reason, Ray is like, "Hey man, good to hear from you. I'm back in town. I don't know how long I'm gonna be in town. They're moving me from Texas to California, so I'm just stopping by real quick before I have to like change bases, and I don't know when the next time I'm gonna be in Alabama." And I'm like, "Cool. I'm free Friday night after D&D, and I'm free Saturday night after I playtest Colin's new RPG." And then Ray's like, "Well, actually, I'm not like scheduling hangouts with anybody. So I'm just playing it by ear. If I happen to be free and you happen to be free, then we can just hang out. But like I'm not like setting up like times and schedules. I'm just seeing who's available whenever and then hanging out whenever." And I just thought that was weird. It's almost like Ray's saying, "You have the opportunity to maybe hang out with me this one time I'm in town. But I'm not actually scheduling any times where I'm free for us to hang out." Okay, good to talk with you. Good talking. Hey, click. And I was like, "The fuck?" So I hit up Maddie, and I'm like, "Yo, Maddie, Ray's in town." And then Maddie's like, "Ray told me he was gonna be in town weeks ago." And that's when I'm like, because it's like, okay, so Ray already let Maddie know he was gonna be in town like forever ago, which means Ray already knew that he was going to be in town forever ago. But why, since I talked to Maddie like every day, did she not mention before that she knew that Ray, a mutual friend of mine, someone who I used to like live with, and I've like been to his real house and I've met his mom and his sister. Ray's met my mom. Ray's met my dad. Like me and Ray are like pretty close friends. Not all my friends can say that they've met a good majority of my family and have been to like my actual house. Nor can I say the same for like my other friends. So I just thought it was fucking weird. That Maddie wouldn't bring up the fact that Ray was coming to town and that Ray wouldn't tell me that he was coming to town until he was here. Maybe Ray wanted to surprise me. I could see that, but I don't know. John Mason said, "You are all characters created by me, believe it or not. But to prove it, Nick, something significant happened to you when you were 8 years old. I don't know what that would have been. Then Nani said, weird. Then John Mason said, Ray equals light Yagami. Nick equals L. Maddie equals Misa. And then Nani said, Maddie is weird. Go into detail, Nani, about why you think Maddie is weird. I'm curious. Also, speaking of Death Note, um, I don't think you're too far off when you talk about like the Ray and me comparisons. Me and Ray actually watched the first episode of Death Note together, and there was a time in college where we were really interested in scopolamine, aka like devil's breath. And to tell you about that, it's a dust that can be made from like crushing seeds of like a plant that you can find in like Colombia. And supposedly, if you like blow it in somebody's face, it makes them like suggestible. Like you can be like, withdraw all your money from your bank account and give it to me. And they'll like go up to an ATM, withdraw as much money as they can, give it to you. And then a side effect of devil's breath is that they like lose their memory or whatever. So they like can't remember what happens when they're like under the effects of it. And me and Ray would talk a shit ton about like if we had access to scopolamine, what would be morally right to do, what would be morally wrong. If Ray had it and I like, needed to stop him, how could I stop someone who could like control people, shit like that. So we would have like thought experiments and like hypotheticals where we would talk about like under those circumstances how would we like defeat each other or rein each other in to keep each other from doing like weird shit. And that is what reminded me of that, you saying comparing us to like light and L, because we did try to do a checks and balances thing with each other when we would do those thought experiments. Nani said, like she said, to don't tell you, and she didn't tell you. You mean the whole like for me to not tell Ray about like me and her getting married, because I do think that is weird, and that never got explained. I don't think Maddie ever explained why she didn't want me to tell Ray about it, which is kind of odd. John Mason said, "I want that. Oh my god." He said so. It's kind of like Kilgrave from Jessica Jones. Yeah, but like not a power. So scopolamine is really dangerous. One thing that me and Ray used to talk about all the time is that like the lethal dose for scopolamine is 1 gram kills 10 people. So you have to use less than a tenth of a gram of scopolamine to like not kill someone. So the idea that this is like a drug that's used heavily is really surprising to me because I'm like, how can you use this drug all the time on people when it just can kill them if you use too much? And Ray, whenever we talk about it, would forget how much was the lethal amount. So I think Ray would legitimately accidentally kill me if he had any scopolamine. Like I think he'd try to use it to control me because I'm one of the few people who have like discussed in length with him how I would try to stop him from fucking up with it. So I feel like he'd try to neutralize me first so he wouldn't have to worry about it. Um, so I feel like what's interesting about that is Ray would probably try to control me and then accidentally just kill me. He just used too much and I just fucking die. The end. So yeah, kind of like Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, but it's really dangerous. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like it's not a superpower, and if you fuck up, you'll just kill somebody. It boosts your heart rate and it can make you feel more aggressive. So scopolamine has like three possible effects, right? You can either blow scopolamine in somebody's face and they become suggestible, which is what you want. You can blow it in somebody's face and they can get aggroed. It can actually just make you mad. So you could do it to someone. And I don't mean like, oh, it's annoying, there's dust in my face. I mean like it has like an emotional response in people that can just make them angry. So you can make them suggestible and then be like, go make me a sandwich. And they'll go make you a sandwich. Or you can make them mad and be like, go make me a sandwich. And then they like fucking punch you in the face. Or you gave them too much, their heart starts pumping really fast, and they just fucking die. So, and then Nani's like, lol. I was like, yeah, scopolamine is like a legitimately dangerous thing. But me and Ray just saw a documentary on it. There's like a good Vice documentary on it. If you type in like Vice Devil's Breath or whatever, we watched it on YouTube. It was really cool. So if you're interested in learning more about Devil's Breath, I'd highly recommend it. What makes the documentary so fucking crazy is that they follow this dude. Nani said, "Did you hear? Did I hear what?" Um, they follow this dude, and the dude, and then Nani said, "Do you hear about the deer disease?" Real quick, Nani. I'm gonna jump in on the deer disease, and then I'm gonna come back to the Devil's Breath. The deer disease thing isn't really that big of a deal. While I was in a stream with Winslow, somebody hit him up and they asked him about like the zombie deer thing, and they're like, "How do you feel about the zombie deer thing?" And me and Winslow were like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And then I googled it, and the first article that I found on the zombie deer thing was like, "Here's why the zombie deer thing's not a big deal." And they talked about how like the zombie deer disease is something that's not new. It's like been around for like a long time. They're not like actually anything like zombies. They don't attack people. Um, and it just kind of fucks the deer up. Like it's not it's not a thing where like, oh no, the deers are zombies. They're gonna turn people into zombies. This is some new shit. It's like this is some old shit, and it's just really sad. It kills deers. It's not hype. There's nothing hype about it. John Mason said, "Yeah, I did not. Yeah, it's not even worth talking about. We're talking straight up about like mind controlled drugs here. That's crazy shit. I don't know. I didn't like it because it was such a quick like nope. Like when they said zombie deer disease, I was like, that sounds interesting. And the first thing I saw was like, it's not. It's just not interesting. And then since then, I've been like, I don't care then. It just seems like it has a very reasonable explanation and it's not that crazy. Um, but the scopolamine thing in the Vice documentary where they talk about Devil's Breath, I thought it was really interesting because they follow this guy and he's like, "Yeah, follow me. You see all these fucking trees, and they're like at like an intersection, like in a city, but there are these fences and there's trees everywhere, and they're like, this is just a random city street. The trees that have these seeds are just fucking everywhere. Like if you wanted access to it, you could just get it. But you have to be careful because if you ground it up and you like inhale that shit, you could just die." And he's like, his cousin had like eaten one. There's like a fruit that it comes from. His cousin had like eaten the fruit. So not like the straight powder from the seeds, like not like the concentrate, but the fruit. And he said that like his cousin now always does this. He holds his hand in front of his face and he says that he sees the after image of everything. So every movement that he sees like essentially multiple hands. Like from me doing this, he would see every hand left as just an imprint. And he sees that all the time, everywhere he goes. Like if you eat the fruit, it can fuck you for life. Like it's just really dangerous, but it's everywhere and it's used by criminals for the most part to like control people and like rob people blind, and people not remember that they like got robbed, and it's just fucking creepy. Um, and that's what the documentary is about. And they follow this guy as he like takes one of the fruits and he opens it up and he takes the seed and he like crushes it down and he's like, this is what it is. And they talk to people who are like known victims of it, who like explain their situation and like what happened to them. And me and Ray were like, this is cool as fuck. And I remember a big portion of like freshman or sophomore year was me and Ray just talking about like, what if we had scopolamine? What would we do with it? What would we not do with it? What are like the moral implications of it? Who would we refuse to use it on no matter what? Under what circumstances would you choose to use it? And even then, would it be good? Like shit like that. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, enough about I guess the Devil's Breath stuff. Now I'm gonna move forward and talk about something that happened during D&D. So Matt is running a D&D campaign called the Gronvelian War or whatever, and Colin will go out of his way to find moments where he can like get mad at Matt for whatever reason, and I don't understand it. Not too long ago, Colin got mad at Matt because he made a called shot, which is not something that's like an official D&D rule. It's like a homebrew thing. And Matt's been like reading the D&D handbook trying to learn how to be a better like dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons. So when Colin tries to do his called shot and it doesn't work the way that he like thinks so, he gets mad at Matt, says that like he should have never given Matt his DM guide to use, which he didn't give it to him. Matt borrows it only for our sessions. It's not like he straight up gifted it to Matt. But he's like, I should have never given you my DM guide. If you're not gonna read the book, then like why even like do the DM thing? And it just seemed weird. It just seemed like Colin just wanted to shit on Matt. Matt also, for one of the campaigns, he was like doing voices for different characters, but Matt doesn't fully know like his voice range. Like he doesn't know what kinds of voices he can do. So a lot of his characters end up sounding similar. And Colin shat on his like voices that he was doing, and then told Matt that if he did one more laughing character, that he would like pick up all his shit and leave. And he even like pretended like he was gonna leave, and Gerard had to tell Colin to like sit down. So I feel like Colin is like nitpicking at Matt's campaign for whatever reason, and it just makes it less enjoyable. He did a nitpick like that tonight, but it was really weird. So we fought like a bunch of goblins, and we only fought them because Colin, he can like he's a shapeshifter in D&D. He turned into a bear, and he's been pulling our wagon along. Like instead of us buying a horse, Colin's just volunteered to like be the bear and pull the wagon. So Colin sees a goblin by a tree, and he runs up to the goblin, pulling the whole wagon with him, stands up, and then he throws fire at the tree, which was really confusing. The reason why it's confusing is because he used a spell in D&D that just lets you like create flames, but it's not a thing where you like make a fireball in your hand that you can throw. It's like I light the water bottle on fire. It's that kind of thing. Like you don't go like shh and then like throw it at somebody or something like that. So he like used the spell in a weird way. Gerard was like, it's just flavor, you know. He didn't actually make a ball of fire in his hand and throw it, but I'm like, that's what Colin said he did, and it's just not how the spell works. He would have like caught his hand on fire if he used it in the way that he described. It was really odd. But he like did his thing, and he like scared the goblin, and the goblin called all its niggas, and we had to fight a bunch of goblins. So at the end of the fight, I had one of the goblins like cornered, and I was like, you either like join us as like our little bitch boy and do what we say, or we'll kill you like right now. And the goblin like surrenders, and then Colin goes around and starts eating the like dead goblins, and then he walks up directly to the goblin who was gonna join us. Matt asked Colin to like roll a d20, and in D&D, you can ask the players at any time to like roll a die, and you don't have to tell them why, because sometimes the dungeon master just has something planned, you don't know what it is, and you just have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of just something that happens in role-playing games. So Colin is like, "Why? Why am I rolling a check? What am I rolling for? What am I rolling for?" Like he like gets really aggressive with Matt for some reason about it. Even though it's just like a normal D&D thing for like someone to like ask you to roll a d20 and you just not know, because the dungeon master, like I said, can just have stuff planned. So Colin's like, "What, you want me to roll like intimidation?" And then Matt's like, "Yeah." And then Colin like rolls the die, but then he's like adding stuff to it, which isn't really what Matt asked. You know what I mean? Like when the DM just asks you to roll a die, he doesn't want to know your stats. He just wants to know whatever the roll was, because it doesn't have to do with your stats. It's kind of weird, but Colin rolls the die and he like adds something to his roll because he's like, oh, it's intimidation, so I add my like charisma modifier or whatever. And then the goblin like dies from intimidation. He's like so scared of like Colin's bear form having like eaten his fallen brethren that he dies. And Colin gets upset that he scared the goblin to death. and he just throws a fit, and he like demands that Matt pick up the Dungeon Master's handbook and show him in the book where intimidation checks can like kill people. And me and Gerard tried to explain to Colin that it's like a thematic thing. Like it's not that in the game you can just intimidate people to death. It's that based on the situation, this goblin was already like really fucking scared. And then he was already weakened too because we'd already beat his ass a bit. And you walked up to him with essentially his dead friends in your mouth and covered in goblin blood. You just scared him to death. It just makes sense. But Colin just makes a big fuss about it. It was just weird. Another thing that he did tonight is he like picked up a goblin and he like tried to use the goblin as a weapon. And that's fine. D&D actually has a thing for improvised weapons. So improvised weapons are where you pick up something that's not a real weapon and you try to hit someone with it. And the way that improvised weapons work is it's like 1d4 plus your strength. Normally, when you use a weapon, like a real weapon, like a sword, you're like proficient with it and you add your proficiency. This matters because it can determine whether or not your attack actually hits or doesn't. It's like a really big thing. So Colin picks up a goblin and tries to hit a goblin with another goblin. It's something really ridiculous and something that D&D makes hard to do. This is because D&D is trying to make you like actually use real weapons and not just like throw random shit like Jackie Chan. So we explained to Colin that he's not proficient in goblins. Like you can't just use goblins as weapons just whenever you want. And then Colin goes, okay, and then rolls the die and then adds his proficiency anyways. And then I hit up Colin and I'm like, that was a really high roll. Did you add your proficiency? Because it was a roll where like I saw what he actually rolled and then you add your modifier. So all he would have added was his strength. And then he goes, I rolled like a 19 or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way it would have been like such a huge jump for him to like get to like a number like that. And then I was like, you added your proficiency. And then Gerard's like, no, he knows better because we just explained. And then Colin's like, yeah, I added my proficiency. And we were like, you can't do that. And he was like, what? I can't do that. And it's like, we just talked about it. We all mentioned that you wouldn't get your proficiency. It just seems like Colin goes out of his way to like try and make a problem out of normal things in D&D. And it's just, I don't get it. But specifically during Matt's campaign, not during his own campaign that he runs. Um, I keep thinking of examples of stuff. Colin also, for Matt's campaign, he just doesn't get involved in what's going on. He just doesn't. So a lot of the campaign will be me and Gerard's character talking, or my character talking with like NPCs. And then Matt will like try his best to make sure that Colin has something to do. So he'll be like, Colin, what are you doing? And Colin goes, I'm going to look at the wagon. And then Matt goes into detail about like this is what you see on the wagon and this is the condition of it and you can tell that you did a really good job building this wagon with like the craftsman and da na na na. And then Colin does nothing with that information. He just throws the description away. It was more or less just an excuse for Colin not to be involved in whatever me and Gerard are doing. And I feel like Colin is just not having as much fun as he could be because he just doesn't seem to be fucking with the role play stuff. He like keeps himself out of it. And sometimes when we have conversations, me and Gerard, we'll straight up like ask Colin's character a question or like try to get Colin's character involved. And he'll just be like, I'd rather not talk about that. And maybe he's just playing to his character. Maybe his character doesn't fuck with that kind of stuff. I don't know. But it just seems like Colin is like going out of his way, at least that's what it seems to me, to not have fun in Matt's campaign. I just don't get it. I don't understand what you get out of trying to not have fun. Nani said, I see. So Ryan died. The Colin hits the whip. And he said, so the goblins are mad. So I just think it's a weird situation. So Eric and Allison are two of my friends from Writer's Block, which is the creative writing club that I used to go to every week on Thursdays. But I now have my statistics class, and my statistics class, um, they meet every day during the time where writer's block is, the creative writing class. Oh, not class, but club. So because the creative writing club conflicts with my statistics class, I can no longer go and hang out with them. So I end up rarely seeing either of them. I actually see Eric a lot more than I see Allison, and Allison and I live in like, excuse me, the same like set of dorms. We don't live in the same building or in the same room, but she's like a building away from me. Like Winslow lives like that way, like directly like across the way, and then your boy Allison lives like that way. Like I can walk out my door, go downstairs, and then just more or less go straight to like where she lives. Nani said, "What's that on your forehead?" So I have headphones on right now, and I have hair in front of my forehead, and then I have like acne. I don't know what else you could be seeing, but I imagine that's what you're talking about. And there's also like shadow. Like my dreads will like block like a light, and then you'll like see like the shadow. But if I get like close to the camera, it's like hard to see. But I have like little bits of acne. It's not anything big. And then Nani said, "Why do you have acne?" Because I'm like a fucking human, dude. That's just like a thing. So like I wash my face and stuff like that. That's why I don't have like big acne or anything like that. I don't have like huge zits. I have like really like tiny little things. So I think I can see like one here on the camera, and I think I can see like one here. So if I get closer, I can verify. Yeah, like just little dots of stuff. But it's not like boom. And it's also really dark. I just feel like it's not very noticeable. But I do wash my face. I drink water. You know, I try to keep it at a minimum. But it just happens. It's just like a part of life. Um, I'm surprised that you asked, why do you have acne? I'm alive. I eat food. Food has oil in it. I exercise. I sweat. I don't. It just seemed like a weird question. Why do you use the bathroom, Nani? You know, like it just seems odd. Um, but Eric and Allison actually stopped by while we were playing D&D, and I got to schedule a hangout with Eric because I never really hung out with Eric like one on one, like outside of like writer's block. So I scheduled a hangout with Eric for Monday where we're gonna play test an RPG that he's working on. So he's been working on like a huge like fictional world. He's actually created the world that he's been imagining in Minecraft. He spent hours and hours and hours putting everything together, getting it just like the way he imagined. And he's actively working on making it into a role playing game. So I'm excited to play that with Eric on Monday. And I also scheduled to hang out with Allison for Wednesday. Me and Allison both read comics, and we're both super into DC comics. Allison, um, I would be really interested in Allison, but she's like a lesbian when it comes to like dating, because right now I'm going on dates with like Danica and Kelsey, and Danica's really into comic books and superhero TV shows and superhero movies, but she vibes the most with Marvel comics. I just don't really fuck with Marvel comics on that level. And then Kelsey is really into like superhero movies and TV shows, but specifically Marvel, and she doesn't fuck with DC at all. Uh, Danica doesn't like hate DC or anything like that. Kelsey like actually doesn't touch DC with a 10-foot pole. DC is not her cup of tea. Blah 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 blah. So Allison is like legitimately one of my only female friends who's like, I read comics regularly and I really fuck with DC. What's this Marvel shit everybody's on? And I feel like me and Allison could have really interesting conversations based on that because we both have like a good idea of what each other are talking about. Me and Danica have really interesting conversations because I fuck with comics, so I can have those comic level discussions. And then Kelsey, I can't have as interesting conversations with because she's just so far beyond me when it comes to like knowledge of the movie stuff. Because I'm just not into the Marvel movies as hardcore as she is, which I think is really interesting. Um, but yeah, me and Allison, hopefully we can make that like a regular thing, like hanging out on Wednesdays and being able to talk up comics, that'd be cool. And it'd be interesting if the hangouts with Eric could end up being a regular thing, play testing his RPG and like hanging out. I think that would be pretty dope. So I'm glad that I actually have a chance to be able to hang out with them because I just normally don't get that opportunity. So I think that'd be cool. So after that, Nani said, "That's dope." Yeah. So after that, Gerard, Matt, and I hung out at the dorm after D&D. We watched anime. We watched Konosuba, and we talked for a good bit. I think Konosuba is a funny anime. I like it a lot more than Shield Hero. I told Matt recently that like I don't really fuck with Shield Hero. I've only really been like tolerating Shield Hero for the most part, and I would prefer to like just watch Konosuba. And that's what we did today. We watched 2 episodes of Konosuba, and I'm happy with that. Um, let's see. And then, like I said, I already mentioned that I told the guys about my possible emo shape sponsorship, and Matt is like afraid of what I might do with an EPU, and your boy Gerard thinks that it'll be like a cool opportunity. I go into more detail, but I already did earlier on in the stream. Um, so that's pretty much all I did today. After that, I exercised, showered. I watched a little bit of a YouTube video that's talking about like an old X-Men storyline where they visited Asgard. It was kind of cool. And that's about it. I still need to make that SoundCloud Weekly playlist of like the best songs from SoundCloud Weekly, so I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm still sitting on those HR forms. I essentially know that the HR forms need to be done and submitted by like a certain point, and then I need to log into like the security login site at some point and continue like my clearance process. But I'm trying to give myself like the longest period of time possible, and it's like as soon as you log into the site, you'll have 30 days from when you log in to like do it, and then you have like 15 days to log into the site. So to give myself like a full 45 days to like log into the site, um, well, to like get through the process, I'm like waiting until like the last point, and then I'm gonna like log in, and then I'll have like the 30 days from that point, just so I can like focus on other things, because clearance is it just it's a lot of paperwork, and I don't want to have to like feel like I'm crunch timing it. You know what I mean? So I need to do that at some point, and I need to make that SoundCloud Weekly playlist. I'm not sweating any test anymore. Um, I already have had, I think, all my midterms. I've had a test in literally every class except marketing, which for whatever reason hasn't given me like anything. Marketing, we had like one assignment in marketing. It was about Cheetos, and that's what about it. We have another marketing assignment that's going to be due sometime soon, so I do need to get on that. That is a real thing. And then I need to do a group project for my business strategy class. It's only like a PowerPoint presentation for this first part, so it's not that bad. Um, so I have that PowerPoint. I have the marketing assignment. I don't have any tests coming up, and that's it. I think those are actually my only responsibilities. And then I may or may not have homework in my business statistics class. I'll have to see. But if I do, it's not due until like a week from now. So I think I'm pretty good. I still need to keep hitting up SMAP, trying to make sure that I can get a job with SMAP. Because if I can fulfill my scholarship obligation and not have to pay all that money back from the scholarships. So that'd be pretty cool. I need to keep talking with Emo Shape because I would love to get that sponsorship and to be able to actually like create games that have like thinking, feeling characters in them that you can actually talk to. I have so many ideas for that. And I'm really honored to have the opportunity to not only be able to like work on such a game, but to do so with discounted hardware and with like the blessing of the company who made it and the support. I think that's really cool. And I already mentioned custom hardware, but I keep liking to mention it. Custom hardware on a discount. I think that's pretty sexy. So yeah, those are like my big things right now. No real relationship drama for real. Me and Maddie are solely just friends. Danica and I are hoping to go on a date next Saturday. That's my hope. Fingers crossed. Uh, and Danica says that she is currently free for next Saturday, but it's a little early to tell. We'll know more in the coming like few days whether or not Danica will actually be free for the next Saturday. Um, I'm getting weird vibes off Kelsey. Whenever I text message with Kelsey, even if I say the craziest shit, she'll just say like yes with like a period or like interesting with a period. She won't go into like super detail. Not everyone's like a big texter. I understand that. That could just be like her text vibes. Um, but to me, it almost shows like a lack of interest. Like, I can't tell if she's not interested in the shit that I'm saying, but just saying that it's interesting in a really flat way, or if she's like bad at texting, so maybe like she's trying to convey how she feels, but she's not good at going into detail. That could be like another thing. But because I didn't really get a good chance to like talk with her on the first date, it was like dinner and a movie, and we essentially ended up having to like rush through dinner to get to the movie, and then didn't talk during the movie, and then mainly talked on the way home. So like barely any time to talk. And then when we talked on the way home, we talked about the movie. It was kind of weird. This date is going to be focused specifically on me and Kelsey talking. It's supposed to be we maybe like eat food and then we get to like learn more about each other. That's like the goal of the date. So fingers crossed. Your boy Nani said that's dope. He said, "Damn, I'm cheeks in Fortnite now." He said everyone are tryhards. Why not go big? I don't understand uh, the reasoning for not wanting to like do your best, unless you just don't care whether or not you do your best. Then I guess I could see it. Um, but who knows? Maybe Kelsey and I will really hit it off Sunday, and we'll go for like a third date, or maybe me and Kelsey just aren't super compatible. It could go either way. But we'll find out. It's just hard to read her through like the text messages. And because I've only talked to her like a little bit, I don't know. Nani said, "Would you smash?" I feel really weird about that. So the only reason why I feel really weird about that is because I feel like the Kelsey situation, I don't really know her that well. And Danica and I have been on like 9 or 10 dates, and Danica and I haven't even like hugged. You know what I mean? And I feel like me and Danica are legitimate friends. If we're like feeling down or if there's something going on in life that's like stressful, we can share it with each other and we're always like there for each other on stuff. And even though Danica can't be in person a lot, we can still like talk and like connect. You know what I mean? Um, so I feel like Danica is like really cool. And I can have like great discussions with her, but we haven't really done anything like physical. And I'd feel really weird having gone on like 9 or 10 dates with Danica and then on the second date with Kelsey do some stuff. I just think that just doesn't seem appropriate. And it also is like, what are you doing? Why is it so imbalanced? Plus, that's more or less what I ended up doing with like the most recent Gabby. Is that me and the most recent Gabby like hit it off like really quickly. Like we ended up just like going straight into that kind of thing. But why? You know, I don't see the reason for why you would want to go directly into like a sexual kind of thing. Because I would rather it be someone who I already know that I like really fuck with, because then I feel like you get more out of it. It feels less like a smash and pass and more like maybe this could be like a real relationship. You know what I mean? And I'd rather get that vibe. So I guess if Kelsey was to hit me up and say that she was like interested in that kind of thing, I'd have to think about it. But I definitely wouldn't hit her up on that. I wouldn't be like, "Do you want to do the sex?" I'd be like, "There's no reason for us to like do the sex." So I guess it would have to be a in the moment thing, Nani, on that one. So depending on the circumstance, I don't know. But my default answer would probably be no. Then Nani said, sheesh. Well, I mean, and then he said, so maybe slops? I'd put a maybe on it. She'd have to propose it. I wouldn't hit her up. I wouldn't hit her up for it. Um, I do have a thing on reciprocation though. So if she hit me up and she was like, "Yo, do you want to like hit it up?" Um, my current stance is like maybe. If she hit me up and she's like, "Do you want to hit me up? Like do something specifically that doesn't necessarily pleasure you but pleasures me." I'd be like on the condition that I also receive something. Like my brain's like it becomes like a weird bartering thing on that. Nani said what happened to Danica. So nothing happened to Danica. Essentially what's currently going down is me and Danica still like talk all the time. We're still going on dates, but Danica takes stuff really slowly. So we've been on like 9 or 10 dates, but Danica doesn't want to like commit to anything yet. She likes to like take her time, really like feel it out, and then once she's like certain that that's like what she wants, she'll like go for it. So right now, me and Danica are just like really good friends, and we're still like kind of flirty. You know, I'll hit Danica up with like different like compliments and stuff, and she like receives the compliments really well. And I don't mean like she's like, "Oh, compliment me more." She hits me up with like, "Oh, thank you. Like I'm glad that you like feel that way," and "Oh, that's really nice." You know, that kind of stuff. And she'll hit me up with like emojis and shit. You know, like we do like cutesy stuff when we talk and we like go on dates. Um, but we're just not like committed. And Danica understands that I like go on dates with like other girls, and that's just like something that I do because we're not in a committed relationship. And I brought up to Danica like around Valentine's Day, like if you wanted to be like boyfriend and girlfriend, I'd be down. You know, I'd be like willing to do that, but I'm not gonna ask you because I don't want to like put you in that situation where you have to choose because I know you like to take things slow. And she was like, yeah, I do like to take things slow. I understand where you're coming from. And we're just still on the take things slow train. And because of that, that's why I'm still like finding my options and like seeing like who I might be interested in going on dates with and exploring those avenues. So that's why I'm like going on dates with Kelsey, but still also going on dates with Danica. This weekend I don't have a date scheduled with Danica because Colin like pre-scheduled this Saturday specifically to play test his RPG, and I already missed out on playtesting Colin's RPG and had him reschedule it because we were gonna have a date, me and Danica, like last weekend, and then Danica had car trouble and just couldn't make it, so it was like a hard cuck. We just like couldn't do the date, and then I was like, oh well, I already scheduled the thing with Colin, so I can't do the date this weekend. So they just both got cucked on that. So that was interesting. Um, so next weekend, I'm hoping to get a date in with Danica. If things go well with the Kelsey date this Sunday, then me and Kelsey might try to go on a date next Sunday. You know, it's a possibility, but we could look at that like being a thing. There's one girl in my statistics class who sits. She used to sit behind me because of the fact that I used to sit front row and center. But ever since I started sitting with Chase in the back, she sits in front of me. This is girl Rachel. I actually asked Rachel out, I think like last semester or something like that. And when I hit her up, it was around the time of finals. And she's like, this is just a bad time. She's like, I'm studying, I'm cramming for like a whole bunch of shit. You know, it's just like a stressful time. Hit me up like after finals when it comes to like whether or not we go like go on a date. And I never hit her up after finals. I just never did. So what I'm interested in doing, since I already have a class with Rachel, we're like the same major, and she's like super into video games and shit. That's like the main thing that I ever hear her talk about, and like the only thing me and Rachel have ever talked about is like video game stuff. Since she's really into video games, and she's definitely like a part of that nerd culture, maybe hit her up and ask her about like a date. see if she's interested. I honestly can never tell when Rachel like is or is not in a relationship. So all I gotta do is hit her up and be like, "Hey, are you single? Yes, no, yes, yeah. Would you like to go out sometime? Yes, no, yes," and then just see what happens. You know what I mean? Nani said, "Nick, you're an awesome person. Thank you kindly, Nani. I appreciate it." And then he said, "No cap." Uh, I guess my question to you would be like, in what way am I like an awesome person? And then he said, "No capping." I honestly don't know what that means. Does that mean like no cap in my awesomeness? Like you can't restrain my awesomeness. Like I don't understand. I get lost in the slang. um, but I think I might ask out Rachel. I really dig that she's like a part of the nerd culture, and I've never had any like negative stuff about Rachel. Like I've never heard anything bad about her. She seems to be really into video games, and she's into like cybersecurity and like business. Nani says no capping means not lying. Okay, cool. I appreciate the honesty. That's dope. Um, I think it would be cool because Danica has similar vibes where she's like into cybersecurity and like programming and things of that nature. So if I was to ever talk about cyber stuff, Danica understands where I'm coming from and we can like talk about cyber and business. But at the same time, we can talk about comics. Rachel would be able to do the same thing, but instead of going into comics, we could like talk about like gaming and video games. I think that would be cool. Um, there's also that redhead girl. So there's the redhead girl who's in my statistics class as well, and she's the one who corrected the teacher during the study session. I just have a thing for redheads on that. So right now, my criteria for like whether or not I'm interested in asking a girl out are as follows: Do we have common interest? Is she a redhead? Is she Asian? I really like redhead girls. I really like Asian girls. And of course, I'm into people who have common interest. So if she's like, yo, I'm like sporting like the anime t-shirts and I'm holding the DC comic book. I got my red hair and I'm Asian. I'd be like, yo, that's like exactly what I'm looking for. And then just see where it goes from there. I kind of lucked out on Kelsey, not gonna lie. Kelsey is like also at the business school. She's a redhead and she seems nice. So I hit her up and then she just so happened to like superheroes. So it like kind of worked out. So I'm hoping to maybe continue to luck out by asking people who I think are attractive and then hopefully they're into some nerd shit. Then Nani said, talk about anime. So you want me to talk about anime right now? Um, Currently watching Konosuba with Matt. We're watching like the English dub of it on Verve. I've been trying to keep up with Hunter x Hunter with where it is in the Chimera Ant arc, following Adult Swim. I know that the anime is way past this now, but I'm currently sticking with the Adult Swim dub and following that as it goes. So we're currently in the Chimera Ant arc, and I've been enjoying it so far. I want to get back into Superhuman Samurai. So wait, hold up. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman, which is an anime that's been shortened to like SSSS Gridman or whatever. I really liked that anime while I was watching it, but I fell off of it, and now I need to get back into it to catch up. I started watching Mega Man NT Warrior recently, the English dub that was released in the U.S., and I really dig that. So I need to like get back into that because, like I said, I was really fucking with it. I started watching that like yesterday, and I think I'm like 7 episodes in, give or take. But it just reminds me of where we're currently at in technology. And when I watch stuff like Mega Man NT Warrior, I'm like, this is like if all of society was made up of Internet of Things and everybody had their own like sentient AI that connected to like a video game, but also connected to like the society of Internet of Things. And also there were terrorists. And also through this like Internet of Things, there's this weird VR landscape world similar to like Plan X, where you can like see and operate cyber attacks through like this weird video game like interface. Because Plan X is a real thing, Internet of Things is a real thing, sentient AI is a real thing, and video games are a real thing. And all Mega Man NT Warrior says is, what if all those things were put together and really important for how society works? And also there are terrorists. And then, boom, NT Warrior is not too far fetched for me. So like when I watch it, I'm like, I feel like this could like be a legitimate issue if like all these technologies were put together. Like this could be a problem. Um, so that's the main anime stuff I've been watching. I've been really into NT Warrior. I kind of already wanted to watch NT Warrior because I felt like it was a really cool thing from my childhood that I let slip right past me. My friend Simon, back in like grade school, he was super into Mega Man NT Warrior. He had one of the electronic digital pet games for it and all the different battle chips that you could put into it. He was super into it, and so was my friend Montel. But at the time, I didn't give a fuck about Mega Man, and I just like wasn't into it. Now, the creators of Ben 10 have made their own Mega Man show, and it looks like hot garbage from the clips that I've seen. So I'm like, where's that old Mega Man that everybody was losing their shit over? And I'm watching it, and it's not bad, but it's also, I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I have some characters on the show that I really like, but there are some things about Mega Man NT Warrior that I think is weird. Um, it definitely suffers from what a lot of shows suffer from, and that's we have to have the main character fight a big bad near like the end of the episode. So a lot of the episode will be not them fighting the big bad because we have to save it for the end. So it just doesn't have as much action as it could. A lot of times when shows do that, I like it as long as there's a lot of preparation. So the stuff that you're not seeing of the fight is them learning that there's like a bad thing for them to fight, and then going, we need to now prepare so that when we fight it, we'll be ready, and then have a fight where the hero gets challenged, but eventually is able to overcome the challenge and come out on top. But what ends up happening in Mega Man NT Warrior is like filler, 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 introduce the villain, filler, 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 there's no preparation, filler, 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 then there's a challenging fight, and then the hero wins, and then it's like that. But if it was like they introduced the villain, and then the heroes were like, Mega Man, there's no way that you could like beat that villain unless we get you like a new battle chip. But how are we going to get a new battle chip? And then like it shows their adventure of them like trying to upgrade Mega Man and give him like new shit. And then once Mega Man's like about to get the new shit, or he's gotten the new shit but he hasn't really gotten a chance to train, suddenly the villain is like, now I'm gonna enact my real evil plot. And they like try to, they've done weird things in the Mega Man anime. Sometimes the viruses they fight, which are created by this terrorist organization called World 3 or whatever, uh, one of them was like, I'm gonna hack into ovens and I'm gonna make them all turn all the way up to like burn down houses. And then one of them was like, I'm gonna cause a traffic jam. And then one of them was like, I'm gonna lock away like all the city's fresh water. And I'm like, some of those seem mildly malicious, and others seem really serious. Like keeping a whole city from having access to fresh water, that's a pretty dick move. People could die from that. Um, Causing a traffic jam could potentially cause problems, but they didn't cause a traffic accident. They just caused a jam. And I'm like, yeah, that could stop some people from getting to work on time. Like that seems like more of a mild inconvenience. And then turning people's ovens all the way up and burning down their houses, that's straight up just like people are immediately getting fucked. The water thing takes time for people to get fucked, to not have access to fresh water. The traffic jam takes time for people to not get fucked. Just burning down people's houses, that even if no one's home, you lose your livelihood. Sure, you have insurance, but now your premiums go up. I don't know, like it can still fuck you. So Mega Man NT Warrior's interesting. I just kind of wish that the episodes were paced a little bit better, and that it didn't feel as much like filler. It's entertaining filler, but I would like to see them focus more on the task at hand of, hey, we have a villain and we need to beat it. We've now hit just about 2 hours in the stream. I do need to go to bed. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, ding, ding. Ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. There's your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Shout out to Nani, who has stuck it with me throughout most of the stream. Shout out to your boy, John Mason. We're going to shout out to a few of these randos who joined in. Shout out to Agent 13. Shout out to Jared Wars. You guys exist. Tuned into the stream, scrolling through. And yeah, if I somehow didn't mention your name, I apologize for like not mentioning your name. But thank you to everyone who joined. Shout outs to all the Nickabenson Nation. Feel free to share this video with your friends. That way they can get in on the festivities and be able to join us on future streams. And stay tuned because we got a D&D live stream coming at you tomorrow. That's your boy Collins. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Thank you again, and peace.